Sorry about the little delay. So the password was changed, so I had to take time to reinstall. So all of you can join your, sorry, not join, by the way. So you'll have to clap actually. So all of you can mute and then sing. So you can sing with me because all of you know the tune now. You can sing along with me. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Giridharadhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Sudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Rama
Rama,
Hare Rama
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 Rama,
Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Madhava Radha
Radha
Madhava Radhe
Madhava,
Jayo Radha
Radha
Madhava
Madhava,
Radha
Radha
Madhava
Madhava,
Radhe Jayo
Radhe.
Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta De Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta De Jayo Vigna Vinasha Jayo Narasimha Dev Bhaktavatsala Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Jayo
Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada Jayo
Prabhupada,
Jayo
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Jayo Jayo
Jaya Jaya
Gurudev
Gurudev.
Gurudev Gurudev Jayo Jayo Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari
Hari
Bo
Bol,
Hari
Hari Bol,
Bo Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari
Hari
Bo
Bol.
जय जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय जय
Jai,
वृंदावन श्री प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai.
प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल. So with that, so let's pay our sincere obeisances to Divine Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and our Siksha Guru, Sunnath Prabhuji. So today's topic that I have chosen, dear devotees, Narani Mata, if you can be on mute, please. So today's topic is that I have chosen is internalizing our devotion with gratitude. So we don't have a presentation because it's more of like a conversation. Is that what we would have? Because it's not that I would ask a question and you'll answer, but instead, so just think through everything that what we are going to discuss, right? So because in the path of bhakti, it is that okay, so we have a couple of procedures to follow, so we are doing chanting, so everything is fine, but then so what is the kind of transformation that we are having through that? I think it is very good, not just good, but it's very apt for us to take a pause and think, so what is that kind of transformation that I'm having through that path of bhakti, right? So it's very important for us to understand. So that is where, so internalize our bhakti with gratitude is very important, right? Because so bhakti can be out of or of different kinds, right? So bhakti can be of four things actually, right? So bhakti can be out of fear, right? So bhakti can be out of our desire, right? Then bhakti out of can be out of love also, and then it can also be out of our probably for gratitude actually. So more of that, okay, I have got this. So out of fear, how it comes, right? Because if someone says that if you don't do this, you'll go to hell, right? So if you don't do this, probably you would be sinned like this, right? So we have all of these things also known to us, right? Because someone tells us that, hey, if you don't do probably the Ekadashi Vrat, so probably you will not get the human life. So could be anything for that matter, right? So during that, so usually what our bhakti would be more of like how I should be, the performance, whatever I do as a bhakti would always out of fear. I don't want to go to hell, so let me do this, let me chant, so let me take probably do some vrata, so let me not get disease, so let me do this dhanvantari yajna, right? So all of that is influenced by our fear, right? So that is the bhakti out of our fear, that what we have, right? So then comes a desire actually, right? So I would want this, for example, I would want this wealth, I need a son or a child, right? Or I would want to get married to this beautiful girl, or probably give me a spouse who can understand me, Krishna conscious, could be anything. So out of all of that material desire is where we would seek the do the bhakti actually. So that is out of our desire, right? And the third category, right? So it is more of like thanking Krishna, right? So he says that, okay, oh Krishna, you have given me, right? So let me, for example, if you've given me a good house, right? So let me thank Krishna through that, right? So that is more of like it's good in a way, because that's where the gratitude sets in, right? So for example, take a case of a blind person, right? So everything that what we can do, the brain person is not able to do, right? So he is not able to like see things like what we are seeing. He is not able to cherish or enjoy things like what the beautiful morning. He's not able to look at it. Although he can feel it, we cannot look at it, right? So he cannot see the blossoming of the flower, right? He does not he's not able to see the beautiful deity like what we can see. So that blind person, what he would do, he would think of, okay, had I got this, how beautiful it would have been. So he's also thinking of that gratitude. So bhakti out of that bond of duty, right? It's more of, right? So that is where we call that as where the gratitude is setting in. So that is how you will do bhakti also. So you have given me all of this in my life, right? So that is where I'm going to do that bhakti to thank him, right? So if you see these different levels of bhakti, right? So one is out of fear. Well, you're doing bhakti, but it's not so great, right? It's not. Then there is a betterment of it. So there's something called as doing out of desire. Okay, I want this, so please give me. Then doing that bhakti, so that's little, maybe a little better than the previous one. Then having that bhakti doing out of duty, or bound to that, right? Thanking Krishna, so that is where it is better than the other two. But what is that fourth category, which is actually helping me in that bhakti path, is doing that bhakti out of love, right? That means you love Krishna because you just love, you just want to love, or you want to serve Krishna. There is no question of I want this, or I would because I'm in need of something, or out of fear. So none of that comes in, right? Because I don't in all of the other things that what you see, right? So there is an inclination to I actually, because I don't want to go to hell. That's why I do bhakti. I want to have this, the desire, that's why I'm doing bhakti. I have got or received this, that's why I'm doing bhakti. So if you see in all of those three, whether it is fear, whether it is desire, or whether it is your duty, or kind of a gratitude that what you're showing, right? So all of you we see here, there is an I actually in at the center, right? But the our bhakti, the fourth path, the fourth one, which is actually going to lift us up, right? So in all of this, which is very different from all of this, which is the most the true or lovable form of doing that bhakti out of our love. That will be very important, right? So today what we are going to look about that is out of love. And thanks to Amarinder Prabhu and his class, so I have referenced his classes and his teachings to take some of this excerpt from him actually, right? So Bhakti out of desire itself, right? Sorry, forget about the desire. Let's come to that. Even in that word also it says that, right? So akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udradya Tivarna Bhakti Yogena Ejitu Purusham Param. So what it says is that even the person who has some intelligence, right, whether he is full of that material desire or without any material desire, right, he is always deciding of the liberation, right? That means whatever whether you want some material things or whether you do not want material things, right? So we see he would always worship the Lord for the liberation, actually. So toward the end of it, what happens is the liberation whenever into bhakti, right? And so all of that is we are doing all of that to use that in a Krishna consciousness, right? Because so that is what a pure devotee would think of it, right? Because it is very easy for us to get confused with, okay, so I am asking this, is it for my own use or to love Krishna, right? So that is where we should not lose that connection back, right? So whether we need money to do the Krishna consciousness, of course we do, right? Whether don't I need a family to do that, of course we do. But then with the real purpose of all of this to serve Lord Krishna, right? It's not that okay, I get this, then I forget about the Lord Himself, right? And so where is that gratitude we should come into, right? So for example, let's take a case of even about so God has given us this beautiful, right? Just same case of the blind person, right? So God has given us this beautiful eyes to look at the world and rejoice it, right? So we should be thankful for it, right? He has given us this beautiful digestive system. So whether you know it or not know it, you just take something into your mouth and you chew it. The rest of the things are taken care, right? It goes in, it converts that into the glucose. It just gets mingled with our blood. It gives us the energy. So is anyone serious about it, like how it is happening, and then probably we are worried about it whether it's happening or not? No. So what we do, we just take that for granted and we do that. He has given us these beautiful hands to take care of things which can help us do our daily chores, everything, right? And he has given us this all the material things that what we look around, right? So all of that God has given us to help us in something, right? And then even like take a case of feeling the pain also, right? For example, if you hit your toe against a table or an edge of the wall, right? So how painful it would be, right? And there are two categories of pain, right? So for the moment the moment where you hit, actually very that moment actually that pain comes, right? So what happens then? It sends a signals to your brain, oh, there is some obstacle there. Then you would know that okay, oh, there is an obstacle, and then you will take your toe away. Or even take a case of we getting burnt also, right? You just touch fire, and then your hand gets burnt actually, right? So what if, and there's a second category of the pain also, right? So the moment you know that, then you will withdraw yourself from that pain, right? So what if that pain comes after 3 minutes? So let's say that you were actually touched the fire and you know that okay, it is burning after 3 minutes. So what happens? By the time you would have already burned, right? But then look at that beautiful creation of the God. The very moment we touch something which is actually harmful to our body or ourselves, right? So we get that pain. So what then? Then he also given that intelligence that I should withdraw from it, right? So we do not think about all of those things about what Krishna has given us, right? Because we think that all of this is taken as granted, right? That I already have, I own it, right? Because I want to lord over everything that I do, and even without having to thank him, right? But then we have to thank Krishna for everything that what he have given to us, right? So that is where the gratitude sets in, right? Because I feel things in this world, okay, but then I don't understand how we do it or how Krishna is doing it, right? But then, if you can, but probably the biggest, probably the having to knowledge but not using it in a right manner. You know what is about our biggest thing, because we always worship the creation, that whatever creation is around us. but we forget about the creator, right? Because we worship that beautiful girl, right? So we actually enjoy that beautiful beauty that what God has given. We enjoy that money that what God has given. But then who has created all of this? The God himself, right? But we don't realize that. So that is where, so gratitude is very important in the path of bhakti. Forget about even bhakti also, even materially also, right? Even if we are a very materialistic person, but not having to have that gratitude is very, it's going to be pay a lot of toll on us ourselves, right? Because the Bhagavatam actually teaches us that ultimate level, right? So what is that? So whenever we call love, right, or probably doing that bhakti out of love, it is nothing but we to serve Krishna because we just want to serve Him. There is no internal problem agenda to it. There is no like a desire to it. There is no self in there, right? So there is one beautiful verse actually which comes in the Canto 1 itself, what Bhagavatam teaches us, right? It says, Save pumupsham paro dharma yatho bhaktir adokshaje ayutvai aparitihata yayatma suprasidati. That, so what it actually says is that it, so adokshaja means Nrsimha Krishna. Actually, it has two things, right? So it has ahitkutvai aparitata. It has two different words actually. So what is ahitkutvai? That means selfless, right? So what should bhakti be doing? That whom I should be doing it for and how I should do it, right? That's very important, right? So whatever bhakti that what we are doing to Lord Krishna or to the Lord who has given all of this creation to us, right? It should be selfless and causeless, right? It is not for self because the bhakti is always should be selfless in action, right? And then the next one is aparitata. That means it should be unbroken or uninterrupted. So these two words are very important in the for our bhakti, right? Because the moment I have self, right, then it's not bhakti at all. So we can imagine bhakti to be like doing, so whatever we say that okay, do chanting or do sankirtana, involve yourself in everything that what the ABCD of it. But the moment we do not have that selflessness, right? So it's not even called as a bhakti at all, right? And same case with, and for example, I'll do probably a round of chanting on other days. Then I will do 4 rounds on Sunday because I get some time. So maybe on during exams I won't do that or probably because I'm busy at work. I won't do Naivedya. Maybe when I get time, I'll go and do that. Right? No, that also won't work in bhakti. So bhakti should be unbroken, uninterrupted. Actually, it should not be like influenced by something because which I like it. So whether I dedicate that time to do that bhakti. So that is how these two things should be very important for us, right? Because even in a take case of Kali Yuga, right? So just like us that what we have in our life, right? So we are not so as great as Dhruv Maharaj, right? Because who stood in one leg and did that austerity in the forest, right? Nor that we are probably like Hiranyakashipu, where we are doing that tapasya for thousands of years, right? For 40,000 years, 50,000 years. So we are not as great as those people, right? Not that we are as great as Durvasa Muni who did that fasting, right? And nor that we are as dedicated as Valmiki Muni, so where he did that tapasya, even as Ratnakara, right? So where by end of it actually was completely covered by the anthill also, right? Because none of it is that what we can perform, right? So despite all of this, right? So Krishna is actually helping us in each and everything for us to get in this Kali Yuga, right? So because we are so fallen that it's very difficult even for us to do any of that vrata. Even forget about like doing 16 hours. Even if you take one round, like if you can, even if you can just pause and think through, even those four Hare Krishna Mahamantras, if you have to say, right? So our mind is already getting diverged into some sort of other things, right? So forget about doing any of that other bhakti path. If such is the case that what we have in this Kali Yuga, right? Whose shelter that we should be taking? The God's, the Lord's shelter, right? Because through Him is where I can get all of this. Now, how much gratitude that what we should be showing for that matter, right? So just like all of those, so even though we do not have all of this dedication, so we do not, will not be able to do this, all of this austerities, everything, right? So that is where the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has been given to us. But then Lord, not just that, right? So Lord actually comes us and tries to deliver us in lot of other ways. So we have our acharyas, right? So Srila Prabhupada came and showed that, uh, hey, so we are so fallen in this world. So we, all of that what we are doing is sense gratification. Instead, we should turn towards God, and then so let's start our journey back to God. So what does people said back then and even now also, that these are fools. This is something like a cult, right? So Krishna actually what he does, he will try to help us in every possible way. He comes as a neighbor to tell us that okay, there is something called as bhakti, that what I should be. He comes as our friend, right? He comes as probably a devotee. So you were so busy in sense gratification somewhere in a mall, right? So going around and you just come out of it and come on, someone kept it, take, please take this Bhagavad Gita, I'm giving you to for free. So what do? So we just reject it, actually saying that, oh, this is not for me, probably when I get older I'll spend some time, right? So Krishna would try to give us every possible way that how I can get my child back. But what we do, so we just push our parents away, our father away, and says that, okay, oh, I'm happy here. Let me do the sense gratification. So that way, right? So our great acharyas, maharajas, so they come all, so all of the representatives of the God, right? They'll keep telling us, do the bhakti, do Hare Krishna chanting, do have prasadam. So do your get your connection back to God. But no, what we said, no to all of it, right? And that is because of the way we have actually complicated our own life, right? Because the purpose of the human life that came in, because we wanted to have the sense gratification, and who gave that? Lord Krishna gave us, right? And even to enjoy that, all of the material things what he did, he created those because I wanted to enjoy. But then what we do, we dwelt so much into it, into the sense gratification, now we forgot where we came from, right? And what we got for. So all of that is what we have to start realizing about, right? And so so we talked about the neighbors, friends, everyone, right? So even our even the enemies also, actually for the word of dvandva we can say that we have enemy, but otherwise there is no real enemy, even by your bhakti path also, right? Because even the enemies also would help us, right? Because the moment we see that our enemy getting a fame, so what we do, we feel jealousy. Why should I feel jealousy, right? Because he's doing that, he's doing that for his own good. So what is good for me is what we should be choosing, right? So take a case of even Putana and Agasura also, right? So Putana came actually so she can poison Krishna. And Agasura, what he did, actually he came as that big red snake so that he can swallow the Gopa Balakas, Krishna himself, and to actually kill him. So what did they get in back? So Krishna actually gave them that liberation. So even Putana actually became the maid nurse back in Goloka Vrindavana for Krishna, right? So Krishna could even liberate, and he sanctioned that liberation even for the people who came to kill him. Then what to speak of those devotees who want to serve him in that case, right? So who would say that I want him, right? That I want to be with him, right? I want to serve him. So if that is the kind of the attitude that what a devotee has, then what to speak of Krishna? So what he does, Krishna doesn't give liberation; he gives himself to them. So that is the beauty of Krishna, right? Because it is in fact Bilomangala Thakur says this, right? So Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatat Bhakti Rahit Kviditva. That means this is also part of our Sikshastakam, if any of you remember those lines, right? So Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatat Bhakti Rahit Kviditva. That means I don't want liberation, right? I don't want to get liberated and probably forget about you, Krishna, right? So life after life, so what I just need is to serve you, actually, right? And in fact, so the pure devotee, right, he doesn't need liberation, he doesn't ask for liberation, actually. So what he says is that, so please give me these opportunities, make me another one more human life so that I can serve you, because human life is the only life where we can serve the Lord, right? So if any other life, that whether take a case of animals, right, take a case of an insect, right, or take a case of even movable and non-movable things, anything for that matter, like a tree, right? So none of that can do bhakti, right? So if such is the case that he has given us this human form, so what are we doing, right? So are we wasting it by all of the sense gratification that we are actually forgetting our connection back to him? The answer is yes to that, right? So in fact, through that Bilomangal Thakur's lines also, right? So we get to realize that. So in fact, this is what is in the Bhagavatam also. So when we do that bhakti, the pure bhakti, right? So actually, Mukti Devi appears at the door and she knocks on it and with the folded hand she says that please accept me, right? But what does pure devotee say? She says, I don't need you, Mukti Devi. Instead, I want to serve the Lord, right? So we as human beings, right? So don't want to leave that hopelessness. Actually, we don't want to leave that lifeless life, right? We don't want to be helpless. We don't want to be aimless. We don't want to be shameless, right? But then instead, what we're choosing, so we are being hopeless of it, that there is no one to us, and then we just keep enjoying, and then no one can, and we live a life of lifeless, even when we think that okay, I'm enjoying this, right? But then we should be turning all of that into that love for the God, because we we want to get into the path of sinless, right? Not the hopelessness, right? Because any entity, right, who stands in front of us, okay, so we can only think of their good, so that is a selfless act. And how does that come? Actually, only when we understand that everyone is Krishna's children, right? So today we have that, okay, this is my own brother, my own parents, my sister. So all of this is what we have, an attachment. But how long, right? It's only for this life, right? So having to take care of the family and having to think that, okay, this is my family, it's all good. But then where is our knowledge which we have to elevate and transform ourselves to think of everyone is Krishna's children, right? So whomever is standing in front of the living entity is where I can serve him. So how can I be serve him, right? So that is a kind of attitude that what we should move towards it, right? So I have come in this world for not for popularity, right? So not for that fame, not for making that wealth, not to have a great bank balance, not to build that beautiful house and enjoy, right? But I've come here for that love of Radharani and Krishna, right? So our whatever that what we learn should actually transform us into that, right? So even we have this from Ishopanishad, right? So it says this, Ishaivism idam sarvam, what it says. So what it means is that means everything belongs, everybody belongs to Krishna, right? Because everything that what we see, right? So whether it is that material thing that what we see around, or that the acharyas who are coming and knocking us on our door, or our neighbors, everything that what Krishna sends us in to remind us, hey, you are not here for sense gratification, but here to serve the Lord, right? So all of that is nothing but the creation of the God. Right? Because what we do, we forget all of that and we think that, okay, so all of this is what I have gained it, I have owned it, right? And I want to do a lot over it, right? Because the true attribute of a Vaishnava is to love people as much as his owns, right? That means whatever I own is what I think, right? Whatever I do not own, for example, the house that I would be said me, maybe I do not own, but I should have a same feeling towards it. That is the greatest the attribute of a Vaishnava, right? So all those belong to Krishna, belongs to me. But we should not be fighting over those petty things or something, but we should look at that bigger context, right? And and in bhakti path, right? So what happens, because you'll be so engrossed in thinking that, okay, let me memorize this verse, or let me study Bhagavatam. So every day we would be longing for it, right? So let me complete this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and doing that kirtana, and doing participating in any of the festivals, everything is fine, right? But doing all of those chanting, hearing, being part of the student service, everything, right? So as part of all of this, what is the kind of transformation that what I'm having? Am I doing that even materially, or is it transforming myself, right? So we should take a pause there, right? So for example, let's say that you've been fed with gulab jamun, and the next moment you're given a rasmalai. So what happens if you just take a rasmalai just after the jamun? Will it taste good? Definitely not, right? So what we should do after having that gulab jamun for so long, right? We should take a pause, right? And then we should taste that, have some water, or probably take some time, so that the taste of the gulab jamun goes away from in your mouth, and then you should taste that rasmalai, right? So just like that, we should take a pause, right? In whatever devotion service that what we are doing and anything. So pause is not to stop, but then pause in our mind and think through that. Actually, so I'm doing all of this devotional service, but what kind of a transformation is it giving to me, right? Am I still hating those neighbors that what I have, even like I'm doing Krishna conscious for probably like 1 year or two? No. Then you're not even done that bhakti at all. Am I having probably even for my our brothers or our own brother, am I still or even co-sister or someone that okay, oh, they built a house and I'm not, even I'm still feeling jealousy of out of it? Then that bhakti has not transformed me, right? Because that thought process of appreciation, right, the thought process of gratitude, right, so that is what should come in the path of devotion, right? Then the devotion will start tasting much better than what we materially what we try to do, right? So all of that actually goes away, and then we would start having taste to it. Because everything that what memorizing that the shloka, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, be it anything, whatever knowledge that what we get, right? So all of that knowledge that what we're getting into our brain, right? So if there is no change to our heart, then what we have achieved is a big zero. If that has not transformed us to show gratitude, it has not transformed us to love others who is in front of us. If it has not transformed us, where we keep hating people, it has not transformed our anger because I'm getting angry at even petty things. I get agitated, right? So then we have achieved zero in that, right? So that is where our purpose of life is not something to like learn Sanskrit, right, or become a scholarly person or become a great devotee, right, or become a pandit, or probably even to preach also for that matter, whatever we are doing, right, or not to memorize the verses or anything, right? Because purpose is not to be a great devotee. Life purpose is to be a good devotee. So what does that good devotee mean? Good devotee mean all of those attributes, having that gratitude, thanking Krishna and realizing that he is our own father, right? Looking at other living entity with that compassion, right? So all of this is very important in our path of bhakti. So and what we should be are doing, because the as the day goes by, right, as the years pass by, we get older, right, day by day. We get declined in our energy also. We lose our memory, right? We get retired. We lose money, right? So all of this keep happening, right? But then the question is our, so over these years what I have gained, whether being in Krishna conscious, not being Krishna, for example. So one of the most probably the distracting thing in this world in a day also, right? What is that? Our mobile phones, our addiction to our gadgets, right? So we might think that okay, go taking that Instagram, taking a photo even when we are in the temple also and posting it and looking that okay, the very moment we would see that okay, how many people have liked it, right? So we can have thousands of virtual friends, right? So what is the use of it if none of them are of help to you, right? Because we should not live in that virtual world, right? So but today we might have those thousands of friends in our Facebook, Instagram, whatnot, actually. So there are so many platforms in there, right? And there are people who would probably create a video and they would go and ask, can you please like that video, can you please comment on it, so probably others can see. So what are we even achieving by all of that, right? So all of these distractions in life is actually takes us down, right? Instead, we should look at who are those real friends that whom we are making. Who is that devotee, right? An association with a devotee who is helping me in that path of bhakti, who is actually helping me realize Krishna, is what we should be getting, not those virtual friends. Even I take a case of we had so many friends that we met in our elementary school, in our primary, even in our colleges also. So how many of them are actually continuing in our life today? Right, so there are different levels of our friendship also, right? There's one called as that virtual friends who are in this social media, social world, and they're never in reality. Those are, right? So what, suppose if you lose someone or something happens, so what they can do, oh sorry, I just heard that, got to news that okay, you were not, and that also we post and they get to know, otherwise they don't even know what our pain is. That is one level of friendship, right? And there is a second level, right? So they have been friends for us. They will where we would go and meet them, we talk to them, and everything, they will come off to certain phase of our life, and they vanish actually, because they also get busy with their own things just like us, right? So how many times, or probably how much time that we have spent in talking to a same friend which we did about 10 years ago? Not really, right? Not the same thing is what is happening. So that is where we should look at. So that's the second level actually. And what is that third level? So out of all of this, there is someone who has always been with us, right? Not just about this Janma, but Janma after Janma. It's nothing but Lord Krishna. But what we do, we forget about Krishna, who is been with us for the life after life, and who is helping us in every possible way to get his child back to him. Instead, we'll focus on everything which can distract us. So that is the reality of the life today. So we should take a pause and we should look at it. So am I so distracted so much that I'm forgetting what the sources are, right? Or is it that all of this has been given to me so that I can realize that, right? Even that, for example, same case of like memorizing the verse, doing the preaching, having to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, doing chanting, and having to serve that. All of this is right. So all of this is nothing but a journey that what we should be taking, and what should be the ultimate point of it? To realize God, right? So because whatever we do, all this is nothing but we should not make this itself as a purpose, that I want to be probably great devotee, that I probably have thousands and thousands of followers on YouTube, right? No, that is not the purpose, right? So not to make money so that I can donate like a lakh or crores of rupees to temple. No, that is also not purpose. So all of this is a journey through which we should start having that love for the Lord. And made what happened, even those in the examples of those different levels of friends that what we talked about, right? There's only one person who stands in test by test of time. It's nothing but the Sham Sundar, right? But what the probably the grand delusion that what we think is, so we would take vairagya towards the God, right? And we start having attachment to everything else which will distract us in this in our love for God. So that is where we should reduce that sense gratification. So whatever our acharyas is given this ABCD formula, right? So all of this, these are things which are actually helping us in that path of bhakti, but that is not itself is a purpose of life, right? So the sad reality even about our so take an example of this cycle, right? So what does parents do? So parents dedicate their 20-25 years of their life, right? Their youth, their money, their time, their efforts, everything. What does parents do? Parents will invest in their children. So what the children will do? So they'll grow up, they'll go to college, they'll grow up, they get a job. After that, they get married, and then actually they make their own children, and again they will do the same thing. So what they will do? Again, they will invest their money, invest their time, invest their effort, everything in their own children, and this cycle actually keeps going on. You see the sad reality of it, right? So, so although there is no a purpose, or there is nothing that what we are doing, but this human life that what we have is the greatest gift that what God has given to us, right? So in this life before the death comes in, right? So what I'm supposed to achieve? I'm supposed to achieve the love for the God, right? And who is that God? Is nothing but Sri Krishna, right? And how should I achieve it? By hearing and chanting, right? And what should I not be doing? I should not be getting probably distracted, addicted by things which are actually keep me away from Krishna. So whatever which can take me towards Krishna is what we should get attached to. And in purpose of all of this, we should not forget that the purpose of life, human life, right? So that would be the summary details for today's session. So let's realize that. So whatever life that what we're given. So Jivera Swarupa Nitya Krishna Das, right? So our whole purpose of life is to serve the Lord, right? And to get our relationship that whatever we had to back into our Father, right? It should not be that okay, He has given me so much of it, I forget Himself, right? So let's take a pause, right? And internalize everything that whatever bhakti that what we are doing, right? With that gratitude, right? So let's internalize that with the gratitude. Take a pause and think that so anything that what I'm doing in the path of bhakti, so what is that giving me? Is it transforming me day by day? All right. Or is it that I'm in the same person as I was, even this Krishna consciousness, about a year or two? So that kind of reflection is what we should have. So with that, I'll end that session, dear devotees. Thank you so much again for giving me this opportunity. And apology, my kind apologies in case if I hurt if it's any of my words or feelings by my class. So please pardon me on that. Hare Krishna. And if there are any questions, dear devotees, please do let me know. And I also see Sindhu Mataji. Mataji, anything that I have missed or anything that you feel no, is not appropriate, please correct me. Hare Krishna.
Hare
And so,
Krishna
Prabhu, you can
Prabhu.
stop
I
the
don't think so.
recording, Prabhu. Yeah.